Do you remember when we talked about aldehydes and ketones? And we said before we talk about aldehydes and ketones, we need to know how to get aldehydes and ketones. And as it turns out, one of the best ways to make an aldehyde or ketone is to oxidize an alcohol to form the carbonyl. Well, as it turns out, that's also true for making acids. We're going to synthesize acids, synthesize acids from alcohols. And it's really going to be alcohol oxidation. Fantastic. Okay, so we've already seen that we can take things like primary alcohols or secondary alcohols, and if we react these with PCC, or if we do a Swern oxidation, we will get either the aldehyde or ketone. Now, that's very interesting, but we don't want to make aldehydes and ketones. We want to make carboxylic acids. As it turns out, to make a carboxylic acid, we want to take specifically a primary alcohol, and we want to treat it with a different reagent. It's called the Jones oxidation. I'm not going to identify the specific reagent. It involves chromium, it involves a bunch of acid, but what we get out is a carboxylic acid. So there are now multiple oxidations that we've learned. Things like the PCC, the Swern, those are really best for making aldehydes and ketones. But the Jones, when used specifically on a primary alcohol, will make the carboxylic acid. Okay, well, what happens if you do the Jones with a secondary alcohol? Well, as it turns out, the Jones oxidation gives you a ketone. So it doesn't magically make everything into an acid. It turns out the Jones is an elimination reaction, just like the PCC and Swern, and the fact that this carbon has two hydrogens allows us to do two oxidations, which in effect becomes two eliminations, and we need that to get the carboxylic acid. Secondary alcohol can only be oxidized once, at least under normal conditions. And so secondary alcohols give you a ketone, gives you a ketone regardless of whether you use the Jones or the Swern or PCC. But to make the carboxylic acid, we need a primary alcohol, and that'll give us the carboxylic acid with the Jones reagent.